Hey everyone, today's going to be a really quick video. We're just going to talk real quick about perimeter and area, particularly with polygons in the coordinate plane, and then you'll do some practice on your own. So to talk about perimeter first, remember perimeter is the distance around an object. And we calculate the distance around an object by simply adding all the sides. Okay, so perimeter is very, very simple. Really what I see most often with mistakes on perimeter is people not necessarily calculating wrong, but misreading the problem and often calculating area when they should be reading the problem more carefully and recognizing that it's a perimeter problem. So when you're looking at a problem on the EOG with area or perimeter, just make sure that you're reading very carefully and answering the question that's actually asked of you. All right, so to calculate area, we want to find the number of squared units contained inside the object. Now, how we go about doing that is going to be a little bit different depending on which object we're dealing with. So for instance, let's start with a square. A square, it has all sides that are equal, so we're going to calculate that by doing one side length by the other side length. And we can write that formula as area is equal to the side squared. Okay, the side length, S being the side length, times itself. So basically this is length times width. But because the length and the width are both the same side length, then we can call it S squared. All right, with a rectangle, we have different length by width, but in order to figure out the area inside, we can still do length times width. Remember, you may instead also see this as base times height. Okay, so area is length times width, or base times height. Could be the same thing. All right, so let's try a parallelogram. A parallelogram, remember, is pretty much the same as a rectangle, because if we look at this and recognize that's a triangle, and we can take this and imagine moving it right over here. If we did that, then what we would have would be a rectangle. So basically what that means then is that the formula for area of a parallelogram is the same as a rectangle. So we could use area is equal to base times height. All right, let's try a triangle. A triangle will always, always, always be half of a rectangle, okay? No matter what our shape is, no matter what kind of triangle we have, it is always half of a rectangle. So what that means then is we're going to take our triangle, and let's make sure that we write down that it's always half of a rectangle. So then we can take our formula and say that area is half of the base times the height, or the base times height divided by 2. Okay? Remember, and I'm going to write this down because this is extremely important. This is probably one of the most common mistakes I see with finding area of a triangle, is people forget to divide by 2. So don't forget to divide by 2. last problem is the area of a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a very funky shaped quadrilateral. It still has 4 sides where the top and the bottom are parallel to one another, but the left and right sides are not. Okay, so we can find the area of a trapezoid using a very special formula that is half of the sum of the top and the bottom, base 1 and base 2, times the height. Now that's a very, very weird formula. So let's make note of a couple things to help us remember how to find the area. Note, first of all, that a trapezoid is really a rectangle with triangles on either side. And it could be one side or it could be both sides. So if you forget the formula, you can always try to calculate the area of the little rectangle and of the triangles on each side. Okay, so note, for instance, that this could be considered a triangle, and we can do the same thing on the other side with this triangle. So we could find the area of this one and the area of this one plus our rectangle and add all of that together. Okay, so we can call that subdividing our trapezoid. We'll say you can subdivide the trapezoid if you need to, or if you forget the formula. All right, and that's pretty much it for the area of polygons. Now what I want you to do is work through the practice problems that are on the bottom of this page and on the back side as well. Don't forget to check your answer key when you are done.